She chose a slave over a prince and changed all their destinies. The morning sun pierced through the ancient trees of glint-shade forest, casting golden beams across the forest floor. Birds called from high above, and the rustle of leaves marked the presence of unseen creatures. Prince Toefl of Elthrin, known for his charm and ambition, rode deeper into the dense forest with eager eyes and a silver bow slung across his back. He was hunting not just animals, but adventure, something rare and untamed. Beside him walked Rudra, his quiet servant. Though born a slave, Rudra had saved Toefl's life during a rebellion years ago. Since then, he was more than a servant. He was a shadow who walked beside royalty, silent, steady, unnoticed by most, but not by fate. After hours of hunting with no luck, Toefl wiped sweat from his brow and groaned, "I'm dying of thirst." Rudra listened carefully, tilting his head, and then pointed toward the east. There's a spring nearby. Pushing through vines and low branches, they reached a glade hidden deep within the forest. A clear silver spring bubbled quietly among mossy stones. But that wasn't what made them stop in their tracks. She was there, kneeling by the water, her fingers skimming the surface like they were writing music into the spring. She looked like a dream brought to life. Skin that glowed faintly in the sunlight, hair cascading like silk, and eyes deep as storm clouds. Toefl stepped forward, stunned, his thirst forgotten, his hunt forgotten. "Who is she?" he whispered aloud, as if afraid to break the moment. The girl turned her gaze toward them, and her expression was calm, regal, untouched by fear. "You're trespassing," she said, though her voice was soft. Toefl straightened, putting on his princely charm. "I'm Prince Toefl of Elthrin. I didn't mean to intrude." She didn't bow. She didn't flinch. "Names don't matter here," she said, her eyes briefly flicking to Rudra. "Not prince, not slave. I'm Leora." Toefl smiled, enchanted. "You must be a princess." She shrugged. "I was something once." That night, back at their hunting camp, Toefl couldn't sleep. His mind was filled with Leora, her voice, her glow, the mystery in her smile. "She's unlike anyone I've ever seen," he murmured, staring into the fire. Rudra said little, but his silence held weight. Something about the girl by the spring unsettled him, not because of fear, but because she felt familiar, like something remembered from a dream. The next day, Toefl returned to the spring, and the day after that. Every time Leora was there, every time, she greeted him with the same calm smile. He brought her gifts, flowers from distant lands, fruit dipped in honey, ribbons of silk. She accepted them politely, but showed no more affection than before. Still, Toefl's fascination deepened. He began to speak of his palace, of the luxury she could enjoy. "Come with me," he said once, "and I will make you queen of the realm." But her eyes drifted, not toward Toefl, but to the quiet figure standing behind him. Rudra came only because he was ordered to, but with each visit, he noticed the way Leora spoke to him when Toefl wasn't looking. The quiet questions she asked him, the way her gaze lingered just a second longer. One morning, Toefl stood before her, heart pounding. "Leora," he said, "I want you to return with me. Be my bride. Live with me in the palace. Everything I have will be yours." Leora lowered her gaze, then looked past him. At Rudra, Toefl followed her eyes, and his heart shattered. "No," he whispered. "Not him." Leora's expression didn't change, but her words did. "Yes," she said softly. "Him." Toefl stepped back, disbelief tightening his jaw. "He's a slave." Leora stepped forward, her voice unshaken. "He is more free than you will ever be. Rudra bowed his head, but Kale saw the truth in his eyes, the same truth he saw in hers. They loved each other. That night, Kale didn't sleep. Jealousy gnawed at his heart like fire on parchment. She was mine, he muttered again and again. I saw her first. I offered her everything. At dawn, he summoned Rudra. Ride with me, he said. Alone. They rode to the high cliffs beyond the forest. The wind howled gently at that height, and the trees below looked like rippling green oceans. Kale dismounted and walked to the edge, where rocks jutted over the drop. Rudra stood still, watching him carefully. Kale drew his sword. What is this? Rudra asked. Kale's voice was quiet. Dangerous. You will leave her, or I will spill your blood on this cliff. Rudra didn't move. I never asked for her love, he said, but she gave it, and I will never return it. Kale lunged. The blade slashed Rudra's shoulder, sending him to his knees. Blood stained his tunic. Kale raised the sword again, but the wind rose to a roar. The forest groaned. A flash of silver light split the air, and suddenly she was there. Leora, wings wide, eyes glowing with ancient power. She stood between them like a goddess summoned by truth. Enough, she said. Kale stumbled back. What are you? She placed her hands on Rudra's wound. Light poured from her palms, healing flesh and sealing skin. I'm a fairy, she said, once a guardian of these lands. Now just a woman in love. Kale dropped his sword. Why him? He asked, broken. She looked at Kale for the last time. Because he saw me. Not my magic, not my beauty. Just me. She helped Rudra to his feet. The rusted chains on his wrists cracked and fell. Turning toward Kale, she whispered, You love me, but love is not about wanting. It's about seeing, and you never truly saw me. She whispered a word in a language older than time. The sky shimmered. Light curled around her, and Rudra, like petals in a storm. And then they were gone. Years passed. Kale ruled Elthrin with wisdom and sorrow. He outlawed slavery. He protected the forests. But he never loved again. In his royal garden, he built a statue of a fairy with open wings and a man once chained, now free. Their hands nearly touched. On the base he had carved, She chose a slave. He chose love. And I chose to let them go. Sometimes, under the stars, Kale would stand before it, whispering a name the wind still remembered. Leora,